Hey everybody, it's Chica, and today I'm going to show you how to make a custom burp cloth for a baby. In fact, we're going to make a whole big stack of them to give as a shower gift. You ready? Today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute little custom burp cloth. It's a really easy sewing project and a great gift for parents-to-be. Trust me, parents love these things if you give them a bunch of burp cloths, especially if you made them yourselves with your own hands. They're really special gifts. So let's go. Okay, so let's talk about the fabric. I've picked out this 100% cotton flannel. It's really nice and soft. It's got these cute little characters on it. I really like the flannel. It's the best material to use for this because it's just so soft and nice. Now, sometimes I get coordinating with different patterns, but I couldn't find a few that I liked for this one, but I really like this one. So instead, I chose these colors to go with it. So these are all colors that I matched out of here, the blue, yellow, and pink. But I'm going to do this on one side and this on the back so that they all match, but then they're all different too. These are also the 100% cotton flannel, so soft. So this is what we're going to use to get started on our burp cloths. So here's how we're going to fold the fabric to get the most burp cloths out of our yardage that we can. So this is the selvage edge here, this is the cut, and this is the fold, the way it comes off of the bolt, just like this in the store. So we're going to take this, and it's folded in half now by default, but we're going to fold it in thirds. So let's kind of go up like this and like this to get it in thirds. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This is just the right size for a burp cloth, maybe about this wide here, right? So let's fold that over again too, just so we can see. That's about 12 by 15. That's about the size. This is a good size that would fit on your shoulder. We're going to round the edges a little bit, but I like this 12 by 15 size. And there's very little waste here because we folded it in thirds and then folded it in half. So I've actually got 6 pieces here on this fabric. So the blue is done. I'm going to do the same with all of my colors and fold them up just the same way to get them into those 12 by 15 pieces. Here is our selvage edge up here and our cut, and here's the fold, just like before. I'm going to open this up, fold it into thirds. Now that we have that one, we're going to fold it to the 12, just like that, and that should match my blue. Yep, right there, perfect. Got a little bit of extra here. I'm not sure what happened there. I think maybe the people gave me a little bit of extra when I ordered, because I ordered 2/3 of a yard. So I think this is just some extra they gave me. So nice bonus. We've got the pink. We're going to do the same thing. You can use different fabrics for this. I like to, or you could use the same. I like to mix it up a little bit so that, you know, the parents have kind of a set of patterns. It's kind of nice to have some options. So perfect. Okay, there's my pink. So here's my super cute fabric that I'm going to use. So I got quite a bit more of this because my plan is to use this on one side and then use these other solid colors on the back. So it'll be this on one side, blue on the back, this on one side, pink on the back, because I think that'll make a nice collection, a nice set. So this one's going to be a little harder to fold into thirds because I've got 2 yards of it here to work with, but no problem, we can do this. By the way, while I'm working on this would be a really great time to go like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love to have you as a subscriber so that you can see all of the cool projects that are coming so you don't miss anything. Now that I've got this down to size, okay, I decided this is kind of silly to try to work with this selvage edge on here, so I'm just going to trim it off now to make life a lot easier going forward. Let's just adjust the fold here and make sure that we are maximized on our size. We don't want any waste on this for sure. Okay, so now that I have this all nice and my triple fold here, 1, 2, 3, 15 inches this way, I'm going to cut it into 12-inch blocks this way. Doing it this way in bulk makes it a lot easier to maximize the use of the fabric and not have any waste and just streamline the process. So I've got my little rotary cutter here. We're just going to start by cutting that straight off. Great. All right, so now let's get this marked out for 12 inches this way. There we go. So that is my first set of 12 by 15 pieces. We're going to round the edges a little bit, and this is the perfect size for a burp cloth. All right, let's just crank through the rest of these. So this was 2 yards of fabric, and let's see what I have here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 3. So this is 18 burp cloths, which is an amazing amount to give to new parents because you will need these things all the time, and having 18 of them is great. So I've got 18 pieces here, and then I'm going to do 18 with the other colors. I'm calling this 3. It's still all one piece, so I actually still need to cut this apart. So I'm going to get my scissors and just go right down the side here. See how much easier that is rather than measuring out each individual one? 1, 2, 3. So let's just cut all the rest of these apart and get these down into individual pieces. There you go. We now have 18 of these perfect 12 by 15 rectangles, and each one is going to be a burp cloth. This is the front of them. Now I need to go back and finish. Remember these, my other colors, my pink, yellow, and blue, so I need to cut these down just like I did those. Same process. All right, there's my pink, and I have 6 of these. So I'm going to have 6 pink, 6 yellow, 6 blue to go with my 18 of the animals, and I'm going to have 18 burp cloths. They're all going to be very similar and so cute. Okay, now with everything cut, the next step is to pair up our pieces. So we do need to round the corners, but we don't want to do them all in bulk. Trust me, it's not going to go as well. If we take one of these pieces face up with one of these, so we're putting right sides together like this. This is going to be one burp cloth once we sew it up and turn it inside out. So I'm going to pair them up like this. This will make life a lot easier as we proceed. We're just going to match 1 and 1 like this. I could use 2 of these, right? If I wanted to do this on both sides, put them face together like that. I could do that. I could do a solid blue, a solid yellow, but I like the idea of mixing it up a little bit. I think this is going to be extra cute, and it makes the whole set match. That was our blue, and now we're moving on to the yellow. Isn't that cute? This kind of lets you match it to the baby's clothes too each day, right? What if they're wearing something yellow that day, so they can wear the yellow burp cloth. I want to reiterate too that you don't have to make as many as I'm making. If you're doing it as a gift, I have heard from many, many mothers and fathers that I have given this to that having a ton of them is super helpful because you always need a clean burp cloth, and to have a ready supply is really great. And here is our last one. So now I have this big stack that I'm ready to cut the corners on. All right, now that we have our things paired up, again, right sides together, we need to round out the corners. I've got this plate. You can use any shape that you want. I'm just going to line it up here on the corner and draw a little line. We're going to cut this out, and this makes a nice shape that's really comfortable to wear, to use as a burp cloth. There aren't any sharp edges, or not sharp, pointy edges. And you definitely want to do this on an individual basis. Cut each one separately as they're paired up. Don't try to do the whole stack at once because you will never get them to line up again properly. This is a much easier way to do it. Now our 12 by 15 rectangle has nice eased edges. Again, they are right sides together. And we're going to take this to the sewing machine, but I'm going to show you how nice this size is first. Okay, here is the piece that we've just cut out. It's going to get a little bit smaller when we hem the edges, but see how nicely this fits on a shoulder? It's just great. If you have your baby right here, little burp cloth, it's perfect. It's a nice size. I love the rounded edges. So let's make a whole bunch more. So there's one down, 17 more to go. I'm going to do the same process as before. You see how important it is that you do each one individually, because look at this. That does not line up exactly perfectly, and I want to make sure that I cut this to fit the fabric. See, that's a little bit off. There we go. To fit the fabric of each individual one. They're not all perfect. I did these pretty quickly, but very efficiently with my folding technique. So they're not always going to come out exactly right. Like, what if you had cut all of the corners on all of the pink ones first and then lined them up with these pattern pieces? Like, They're not going to match probably because they weren't all exactly the same size. Let's just get them rounded and matching in each pair. All right, I've got all of these cut. Looks great, right? So I'm going to take each one individually to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew around the edge, as close to the edge as I can, while still getting a nice secure seam, like maybe a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, except here on the end, I'm not going to sew about 2 or 3 inches because I need to be able to reverse this inside out when I'm done. So we're going to leave an opening, but we're going to go all the way around there on the sewing machine. I have just finished sewing this piece all the way around. I left the 2-inch opening right here, and I sewed it pretty close to the edge, kind of did sort of a 1/4 inch-ish seam allowance, and it is inside out, so let's flip it. Okay, now at this point, honestly, the best thing you can do is get an iron, because you really want to make sure that these edges are all the way pushed out like this and not like tucked in like that. You don't want them tucked in, you want them all the way out so that you get the maximum size here of your burp cloth. So the best way to do this really is with an iron to kind of push it out and press it. So as much as I hate to iron, that's what we're going to do because it is worth it. See that nice rounded edge? That's what our plate did for us when we marked that. Spray with a little water. I'm just going to press that down flat. This is going to make my sewing so much easier. See that? See how nice and perfect? Versus that, it's going to be much easier. So let's just keep on going all the way around. Again, we get that all the way out. And press it. Doesn't take much. Again, I cannot express enough how much I hate ironing, and I'm doing this, which means you really need to do this. It makes all the difference. All right, so now we're down to this one in the middle here, right? So this is like a big opening that I left. We have to sew this up. So I'm going to tuck this in and get it straight in line with the part that is sewn. This is where the iron comes in the biggest use because you definitely want to iron that. And now, look at that. Remember that gap that we had? It's perfect now. So now we have this ironed flat. We're going to go back to the sewing machine because we do need to sew this gap back down, and we're going to go ahead and top stitch all the way around because that's going to give this a really nice finished look. All right, back at the sewing machine, and I have blue thread up here, white thread down in the bobbin. And let me show you why I did that. Here's a little sample that I did a practice on. You can't even see that row of stitches, but I did a row of stitches here with the blue thread on the top, white on the bobbin. So when I sew this piece, on this side, it'll be blue. On this side, it'll be white, so you won't see the row of stitches. Now, you can do it on purpose if you want to see the row of stitches, if you want to do an accent color, but for this particular fabric, I want it to kind of just blend in, so that's what I'm going to do. Also, I am doing a zigzag stitch. Again, I don't know if you can see it here in my sample, just because I think it gives it a nice look. I don't know, I just like the zigzag around the edge. It holds the edge down nice and tight versus just a single line. So we're going to feed this back through all the way around. We're going to close up that gap that we left, that we ironed nice and flat, and we're just going to top stitch this all the way. What did I just do? I totally sewed this upside down. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that's what I didn't want to have happen. I can see the blue stitches on this side and white on this side. So let's take it out and start again. All right, it is all done. Check it out. See this nice zigzag stitch all the way around? And it's white on this side, so you can't see the thread, and it's blue on this side. I love it. And then our gap, remember the gap for flipping? I don't even remember which side it was on, but whichever side it was, it's closed up now because we sewed it up. So wonderful. I love it. All right, now let's take a look at it out flat. Here is our finished burp cloth. It lays pretty flat. That zigzag does a really nice job on the edges. A straight stitch doesn't quite make this lay as flat as this. Now this is the kind of thing you can make one or two of if you want. You can make a whole set of them if you want for a gift. Different fabrics, different colors and sizes. I love the two-sidedness of it. This is a really great shape, and it's super handy and soft. And of course, machine washable and very, very useful. So there we go. That's one Now I have 17 more to make for this gift, but it's going to be really awesome. So let's get going. Okay, I am done. Look at this beautiful stack of burp cloths. Isn't this amazing? So there's plenty of them here. There's 18, and they all have this really cute pattern on the front and the different colors on the back. You cannot have enough of these things. And they're so easy, you know, a burp cloth, you know what they are. You can make them for gifts, you can make them for your own baby, you can make them for your friends who are having babies. But what's nice about this is that I got to do it with the patterns that I like. I got to make this by hand special for my friends. It's a really great, easy sewing project and a really personal gift that you can give. So I'm gonna go wrap these up in a nice bag, tie it in a nice bow, and give it to them as a gift. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions about how to make these, please don't hesitate to ask below. And make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of our cool projects. See ya!